Hello and welcome to this week's BMS Ask Me Anything series. This week we are talking about all things service. So go ahead, and I see we have people still coming in. As you're coming in, we're going to have a couple things that we're going to start with, but feel free to get those questions into that question pod and we can roll with those as soon as we are done with introductions. My name is Lynette Polson. I am a software training consultant on the education team here at ConnectWise. I am based out of Wisconsin, but I am actually in the Tampa office this week for the Automation Nation, so that's kind of fun and exciting. And I have been at ConnectWise a little over 2 years, and I just love helping partners with their process. So I'm so excited about these Ask Me Anything so we can help you get those questions answered. I'm joined by Ashley.
Hi, everybody. My name is Ashley Abrashkin. I am a team lead with the Partner Success team here at ConnectWise. I am based out of Tampa, Florida. I've been with ConnectWise for almost 4 years now. And then just some fun facts. I love to try new coffee shops around the Tampa Bay area, new restaurants, that kind of thing. And then I had to put my little fur baby Winnie in here because she is like my child. So that is my little dog. That's about me.
Thanks, Ashley. And then we also have Darren here from Product.
Yep, so I'm based out of Minnesota, so I'm a product manager primarily on the service delivery side. I came from a managed service provider that I worked at here in Minnesota for about 12 years. I was, a customer of ours essentially. And I was also involved facilitator with the service exec groups for a while until the travel with kids stuff just got to be too much.
I completely can relate to that. So as I said, today is our service topic. So feel free to get those questions into the chat pod. And while you guys are coming up with your questions and putting them in, we have a couple of hot topics that we wanted to bring up. This first one being, and this is a big one that Ashley and we all hear at all of the user groups and partner calls. When should I bundle versus when should I merge a ticket? So Ashley, do you want to weigh in on this first?
Yeah. So bundling tickets in PSA, formerly known manage, if you want to call it ConnectWise, if you've been a ConnectWise partner for a long time, we know what you're referencing, is really for service tickets that involve a single issue, but it still allows to separate those tickets and they can still be tracked separately. Once you bundle them, the ticket becomes that parent-child relationship. So one thing that I always advise partners when they are bundling is to ensure that you have a child status so that when those tickets are being closed, it doesn't affect the SLA, but you can still report on that ticket versus duplications. And then when merging comes into play, those are designed specifically for multiple service tickets that reference the same issue, but it's going to be a single ticket. So that's really useful. Let's say when like a contact at a company submits a ticket for the same issue, but we can track that on one ticket versus having a ton of open tickets. It's just all merged together. The one thing that I always advise is just to take a look at our documentation because merging tickets do have specific requirements. I think there's 8 different requirements on there just to be on the lookout for. And then bundling versus merges as a whole. I usually recommend as a best practice to bundle over merge because merging, unfortunately, cannot be done. So once that's merged, it's done, it's set in the system. But when you bundle something, you can undo it, which is kind of like a saving grace. And if you do end up merging and you got to take it back, sometimes that involves the professional services team to get involved to make those edits for you. So just kind of a warning or a note if you guys are merging, or if someone's new and they accidentally hit the merge button, it's usually just safer to bundle over merge. And then I know there's been some recent
a lot of partners that they are like, no, we never merge. We don't allow the people to merge. So you have to be cautious when merging.
Yes. The bundling is like a safe bet. And then I know there's some updates with bundling as well. Darren, I'm not sure if you wanted to mention some of the new releases and enhancements there.
Yeah, so I can share my screen here somehow. Used to this stuff.
Do I need to give you control?
Maybe. I'm trying to remember. Oh, here we go, sharing. Sorry, because I had to move my computer. I don't have all my fancy screens now. Okay, I think I'm showing my screen now.
Yeah.
Right. So we had a couple of updates to bundling not super long ago. I think it was in Q2, so last quarter. Mostly focused on trying to improve incident tracking where you've got, major outage or something like that. So one of them is that you are allowed to bundle tickets across multiple companies. You've always been able to. You can also do it across multiple boards. You've always been able to. However, if you tried to do it as a mass action on the service ticket list, you would get an error saying that you can't do that, especially if it's across multiple boards. We've removed that error. You were able to do it if you were directly in a ticket, if you tried to do it in the combined tickets pod down below. Another enhancement that we made to this is that when you change the status, it used to be that if you change the status only to a closed status, would it update all the bundled tickets? Now, no matter what status that you choose, when you hit save, it's going to go ahead and bring up this little dialog box, and it's going to say, hey, you're changing this. You want to change all of the other tickets. If the status name is the same status, if you've got tickets on multiple boards and they're all using the same status name, it will default to that. But if it's not, if they can't find a match on the name, then it will just leave this blank, and you'll just need to update to whichever status you want. Another update
on that, does the status notification still work then that way as well?
Correct. And they will go out from the parent or the child ticket itself, which is one of the other pieces of this. Is if you were bundling tickets across multiple companies and you wanted to send out a notification to, based on Microsoft outage or something like that, you used to have to go ahead and either handle it one by one or send some other mass communication. Now, if you try to open up a new note here, you'll see an additional checkbox here that's called bundled tickets. If you just check this box and then you put in your note, parent ticket. So you'll notice we no longer are pulling in all of the other contacts on here as a CC. That was also removed as part of this. And I'll show you why here is when I save this, what this is going to do is it's going to send out an update from this ticket directly to the contact of this ticket. But then it also, if I were to pull up one of the child tickets here, it's going to send out that same update to all of the child tickets, but it's going to do it directly from the child ticket. And so that way, if you've got multiple companies, it's going to look like they are getting a response to their specific ticket and not that this is some ticket with 18 different companies on it. So you can make sure to kind of keep some of that privacy and stuff like that in there as well. And so if you don't see those options, there is a managed lab for that. It should be enabled at this point for everyone, but if it's not, you can just go in there and enable it, and this works for cloud or on-prem. No change there.
That is exciting, and I love the fact that it keeps the documentation in that child ticket, so you're not trying to chase all of that down. Great for that accountability that we're always looking for. I am going to steal back control here. Maybe. It's not letting me change myself back. There we go. Sorry, technology struggles are real. I promise. This truly is a live webinar. So the other question that we prepared that we wanted to talk about today is, what is the best way to dispatch tickets? I mean, this is a struggle that we're all dealing with. We all, sometimes we have a dispatcher, sometimes we don't. So what is your recommendation, Ashley, on the best practice for this?
Yeah, simply put, the best way to dispatch tickets is through the dispatch portal. So that will just be in the service dropdown or module, and then you'll go to the dispatch portal. And then that gives the dispatcher a live view of what the resources calendars look like. Something that I like to suggest is just ensuring that your view is set to the service dispatch board, because that'll be able to pull up your service board with all of your tickets on it. And then also on the other side of things, show the list view of what your text day look like. And then ensuring that it's filtered to day. And then once that view is on, the dispatcher can just go ahead and drag those tickets at the bottom and start dropping them to each tech. And then it's just a much more seamless process, less button clicks versus going in and individually each ticket and assigning tech by tech. You can just drag and drop, the pop-up will come up, and you can either set a date, or you don't have to put a specific timing. I think you can just put it right in there. And that just avoids you going service ticket by service ticket. The drag and drop is just a lot less button clicks and more efficient. So that's usually a best practice. And then I know we have some newer features with round robin and that tying into the skills to ensure that this gets done for you. So I'm not sure, Lynette or Darren, if you wanted to talk more about round robin and then how skills kind of ties into that.
Yeah, I can go through that here. So we added round robin I don't know, about a year and a half.
Do you want to share your screen, or do you want to?
Yeah, I'm working on that here now. Oh, looks like you'll have to change me as a presenter again.
I think so. Here, let me give you. Okay, you should be good to go.
So we added round robin, which will go ahead and schedule a ticket automatically based on their schedule. So it'll block off a half hour for the ticket, and it looks at today's calendar only. And so if they've got other tickets already scheduled out, it's just going to take whoever is next available in there. So if you don't want somebody getting auto-scheduled for a certain time slot and you have them as part of a round robin team, you can go ahead and just like block off their calendar. It's like a schedule entry if you want. So a couple of things that we added recently to this is skill mapping. So a while back we added it for type. We decided to pull that out of type and bring this into its own tab, very similar to like how the auto templates tab works. The difference here is you don't have to have it all the way down to the item level. And so the nice thing about this is if you've got a team of like 10 different techs, and you've got some technicians that are really good at networking, some that are good at firewalls, some that are good at workstation, desktop support. If you set these subtype item combinations in here, and you match this up with your skill categories you have assigned to your technicians, the round robin will first look at all of the technicians who match skill. And if it can find one, it will assign it to them first. If it can't find anybody, then it'll just take, from the next available pool. If there's nobody in your pool available at all, there is a status you can set these to called round robin catch-all. So that is hey, no one was available for me to schedule to, drop it into this bucket. And so one of the other things that you can do is you can take a workflow action, run it against that status, on a however often you want to run it, and you can have it assign a team. And if that team is a round robin team, it will use the auto assigning round robin skill mapping logic. So just like it will if you're doing the auto assign here, but here it's only going to do it if it's like a brand new ticket. If you use the workflow, you can trigger it however you want. And so it really kind of helps ease some of that scheduling if you've got if you're trying to go with more of a push system, or even this would be more of an automated pull system to a degree at that point too.
Well, and I even like the idea of using a status notification, maybe to just let the service manager know, hey, this ticket came in, nobody was able to be assigned, just so somebody is aware that it's sitting there.
Yeah, and you are allowed to have multiple round robin teams. You can only have one default, of course, but you can have multiple round robin teams. And so if you want to have like a network team versus a workstation support team, you could do that as kind of another version of doing the skill mapping. Another reason to do this is if you want to have a tier 1 team, a tier 2 team, and a tier 3 team. And now, instead of having to flip between boards or things like that, if you keep everything on the same board, if you've got like a status or something you're using that says, hey, this needs to be escalated to tier 2, you could have the round robin, you could have a workflow rule run against that status and then have it auto assign, your tier 2 round robin team. So it would flip between them.
Now, I just have to do a shameless plug because I was actually at Automation Nation yesterday. And the workflow that I built in ASIO, I actually had it triage the ticket using Sidekick. So it gets that type, subtype, and item, and then kick it over to round robin so that it can actually intelligently use those skills and dispatch. So definitely the AI is getting there that, if we're not finding those dispatchers, we can definitely manage without.
We also have some really good documentation on everything that we've gone over so far, combined tickets, dispatch portal, and round robin. I can try and figure out how to put them in the chat. And if not, I know this also gets posted, I think, in the virtual community. So we can also have those good links sent over to the virtual community for you guys to reference.
Absolutely, Ashley. If you get those to me when I do the post with the recording, I can absolutely include those in here as well. I'm going to give our audience a couple minutes here to see if we have any additional questions. I have not seen any come in yet, but maybe we're being a little shy. So hopefully, if you have a question, go ahead and throw it in there. We're here for you for the next 15 minutes. So if you have something that's been driving you crazy, feel free to ask. And then while we wait to see if anybody has any burning questions, I do want to, of course, another shameless plug. If you haven't registered for all the BMS series, I highly encourage you to check out this link, see what other topics we have coming up out there. I believe next week is project management and then maybe finance. But definitely check that out on the university and get out on the university and see what webinars and stuff we have coming up. There's a lot of great things coming from ConnectWise, especially with IT Nation Connect coming up. So that's the fun. Excellent. We have a question. I continue to have issues with ticket owner not auto-assigning. If there is more than one resource on a ticket, is that an expected behavior? Darren, I'm going to throw this one at you.
So I guess, how are you trying to auto-assign? Are you auto-assigning based off of the auto-assign tab in the ticket?
Michelle, I have unmuted you if you care to come off mute and chat with us about it. Otherwise, feel free to continue adding more information there in that questions pod.
I'm happy to do that. Let me, can you hear me okay?
We can.
Okay. My fan is running on my laptop and I don't have my AirPods in, so I apologize if it's loud. So no, it just, the service board itself, the system itself auto assigns the first resource as the ticket owner. But what I'm finding is that sometimes if there's more than one, I don't have anything created to do that. It just, as a core system functionality, does that. And so I was told that it should do that no matter what, because when I initially opened the ticket, but if there's a second resource, it does not, which I get. It's like, which one do I choose? I just didn't know, is that expected behavior or not? I've been doing education, just making sure everyone's paying close attention. Don't forget to assign yourself or the appropriate person as the lead on that ticket as the ticket owner.
Yeah, so I think I'm sharing my screen here. So this option here should handle the assigning resource as the ticket owner. Otherwise, yeah, it'll do the first resource that you assign to the ticket. But I have not seen where if I have two resources on a ticket that it doesn't know which one to do. So.
Okay. And I may just open a ticket again on it because we do have that selected. The auto
I'm going to save this. So is it that you're adding like two resources in the ticket at the same time?
Not always, sometimes, but not always. I don't know. I'm not the one actually assigning the resources. So it's not always at the same time.
Okay.
Sometimes it is, but not always.
Well, and two, just something to be aware of, that auto assign checkbox is per board. So if you see that behavior on one board and not another, I would definitely recommend checking to make sure that it's on all appropriate.
Right.
Yeah, so it looks like if I try to do multiple at a time, it won't do it.
Yeah.
Once you clear the ticket owner out, there's a checkbox when you go to schedule a resource that you can check for making them a ticket owner. Assuming that it's not like a new ticket. But if you want, see your email address here. I'm not sure how here we go. I'm gonna mark down your email address here, and I'll shoot you a message rather than you trying to go through support for this. You and I can just maybe touch base and see if we can recreate what's going on, and if there is a legitimate bug here, we can get it fixed, and if there isn't, then we can figure out if it maybe is just like a setup issue or something.
Yes, yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle. It doesn't look like we have any other questions. I'll give it a couple minutes or two. We are here. One other thing to know, that if you do have other questions about functionality and stuff, you can always email education@connectwise.com. And I know, Ashley, you guys can reach at partnersuccess@connectwise.com.
Yep.
So if you're looking for a little more hand-holding and a little more in-depth of walking through your process, Partner Success is definitely where you want to go.
And then another great place, I know I already mentioned it, is virtual community. I know there's a lot of peer-to-peer conversation, open forum. I know Partner Success and product and also education is also in there, just commenting on different posts and giving different resources and things like that. So that's another place if you don't directly email. If you just want to poke around the virtual community, it's a good space as a resource as well.
Yeah, always great to get that peer feedback and understand how other companies are doing it. Definitely co-opetition. And even if you are able to attending user groups, is a great opportunity to make those connections and get that feedback. Well, on that note, I am going to call this today. Thank you everyone who attended. Thank you, Ashley and Darren, for joining me on this. I hope we have given you some useful information.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you.